Welcome back to Gemma Movie Recap. Today, we have an exciting recap of the 2022 action thriller film, The 355. The movie revolves around a group of exceptional female agents hailing from American, British, Chinese, Colombian, and German government agencies. Their mission is to prevent an organization from obtaining a dangerous weapon that could plunge the world into chaos. But before we delve into the recap, we kindly request your support by subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications for future updates. Now, let's dive right in and get started. But before we start, please support our channel by subscribing and click the bell icon for future notifications. Now, let's start. The story begins in a remote location in Colombia, where crime boss Elijah Clark meets with a local drug lord named Santiago and his son Geronimo. During their meeting, Geronimo showcases a powerful weapon capable of accessing global networks and computer systems. To prove its capabilities, they demonstrate control over a passing plane. Impressed by the weapon, Clark and his henchmen betray Santiago and Geronimo, intending to claim it for themselves. However, their plans are interrupted by a police raid, forcing Clark to escape. Meanwhile, government agent Luis Rojas discovers the drive containing the weapon and decides to keep it. Back at the CIA headquarters in Langley, the agency's leadership becomes aware of Luis' possession of the drive and his intention to sell it in order to secure the safety of himself and his family. Director Larry Marks approaches agent Mace Brown and her partner Nick Fowler, tasking them with retrieving the drive. Mace and Nick devise a cover story, pretending to be a couple on their honeymoon, but a genuine attraction begins to develop between the two agents. Mace and Nick arrive in Paris and locate Luis at a designated cafe for the drop. However, their bag is intercepted by another agent, Marie Schmidt, who poses as a cafe server. Mace gives chase to Marie while Nick pursues Luis. Mace follows Marie down into the subway, but she manages to escape by boarding a train. To her dismay, she discovers that the package she intercepted contains the money intended for Luis. Meanwhile, Nick continues his pursuit of Luis through the city streets. Eventually, he loses track of Luis and finds himself in an alley where he encounters Clark and one of his henchmen. They question Nick about the whereabouts of the drive, but he denies having it. Luis returns to his room, where he is greeted by a psychologist named Graciela Rivera. Graciela attempts to gain Luis' trust and inquires about the location of the drive. Meanwhile, Marie meets with her boss, Jonas Muller, as they gather information on Mace and Nick. Despite Jonas' initial reluctance to let Marie pursue the drive, she persuades him to allow her to continue her pursuit. Mace returns to Langley and receives the devastating news from Marks that Nick has been fatally shot. Overwhelmed with grief, Mace is instructed by Marks to take matters into her own hands and retrieve the drive. She heads to London to reconnect with an old friend, Khadija Adeyem, a skilled cyber intelligence expert. Mace attempts to recruit Khadija for the mission, but Khadija reveals she has moved on from their previous line of work and is leading a content life in London with her partner, Abdul. However, after Mace emphasizes the grave consequences if the drive falls into the wrong hands and the potential outbreak of World War III, Khadija reluctantly agrees to assist Mace in gathering information on Marie and Luis to track down the latter. Mace and Khadija trace Luis and Graciela to a factory where Marie is also in search of them. As they close in on Luis, one of his fellow agents betrays him and shoots him. Simultaneously, Mace engages in a physical confrontation with Marie. Khadija pursues the shooter, who manages to escape on a boat after a pursuit involving Mace and Marie. Graciela remains by Luis's side as he succumbs to his injuries, entrusting her with a phone that can only be unlocked by her fingerprint. Marie locates Graciela and brings her to a safe house, but their whereabouts are discovered by Mace and Khadija. A tense standoff between Mace and Marie is diffused by Khadija, and they reluctantly agree to set aside their differences and collaborate. Utilizing Luis's phone and Graciela's fingerprint, Khadija traces the shooter's location to Morocco. The group of women travels to Marrakesh and tracks down the villain in a bustling market. Skillfully maneuvering through the crowd, they manage to retrieve the drive without attracting attention and ensure its safety. Khadija successfully decrypts the contents of the drive, and they make arrangements to deliver it to Marks. Following their mission, the women gather for drinks, forging a deeper connection as they share personal stories. Marie reveals that her father was a double agent for Russia, and she had to make the difficult decision to expose him. Back at CIA headquarters, an unidentified woman enters the scene and launches a sudden attack on Marks, ultimately shooting him and causing his demise. The women watch news reports detailing numerous plane crashes and widespread power grid failures in 2 cities, realizing that the drive has fallen into the wrong hands. They return to headquarters only to discover Marks's lifeless body, just as other CIA agents, led by Grady, arrive to apprehend them. In a swift turn of events, the women gain the upper hand, disarming the agents and making their daring escape. Determined to uncover the truth, they capture the shooter and subject him to interrogation. Marie inflicts a non-lethal gunshot wound to his leg, using it as leverage to extract vital information. Reluctantly, the shooter divulges details about an upcoming auction in Shanghai. With their captive secured and provided with a tourniquet to prevent further injury, the women prepare to pursue their next lead. The team travels to Shanghai and adopts disguises to blend in at the auction. One of the thugs at the event attempts to flirt with Graciela, who is gaining valuable field experience. Mace is taken aback when she discovers that Nick, whom she believes to be dead, is actually alive. However, her initial surprise quickly turns to realization as she learns that Nick is now aligned with Clark and has his own agenda regarding the drive. In the midst of the chaos, Mace engages in a physical altercation with one of Clark's henchmen, while Nick assumes a seat at the auction. As the events unfold, Nick discovers that the woman who killed Marks is present alongside her father, both in possession of the drive. Seizing the opportunity, Nick acquires the drive by making a purchase just as the police arrive, prompted by an explosion caused by Marie. The woman subsequently intervenes, instructing the officers to stand down and leading the ladies to meet with her. Introducing herself as Lin Misheng, an agent from China who has also been tracking the drive, she unveils crucial information to the team. Lin reveals that Marks was complicit in the scheme orchestrated by Clark. Lin and her father have gathered intelligence on several criminals present at the auction, including the individual who flirted with Graciela. Furthermore, Lin discloses that she possesses an authentic drive. Frustrated by Nick's failure to secure the drive, Clark orders his men to violently assault him. Nick and his accomplices eventually trace the whereabouts of the team to their secure residence. They display separate screens showing that their men have also located Abdul, Jonas, and Graciela's husband and children, holding them at gunpoint. Nick demonstrates his ruthless determination by ordering the execution of Lin's father, Jonas, and then Abdul. In a desperate attempt to protect Graciela's family, the ladies reluctantly hand over the drive before further harm can be inflicted. Nick and his group seize the drive, along with Lin, who possesses the expertise to operate it. As the ladies mourn their devastating losses, they make a solemn vow to pursue Nick when they discover that Lin's glasses are equipped with a concealed camera, enabling them to track her movements. Nick takes Lin to his hotel room, compelling her to decrypt the drive, while the rest of the team stages a daring assault. A fierce shootout ensues between the team and Nick's henchmen, with Lin proving to be a formidable fighter herself. Overcoming considerable odds, Mace engages in a life-or-death struggle with Nick. Who injures Marie by shooting her in the shoulder and nearly kills Mace. However, Graciela intervenes, shooting Nick to save Mace's life. Law enforcement authorities arrive to apprehend the women, but Khadija acts swiftly, destroying the drive before they can seize it. 2 months later, Nick hunts down and kills Clark, eliminating his former associate. He cunningly manipulates his way back into the CIA, assuming the role of the new director, with Grady aiding him in locating Mace and the others who are now marked as fugitives. Eventually, Mace discovers Nick's whereabouts in his residence and is joined by Khadija, Graciela, Marie, and Lin. They administer poison to Nick through his drink, informing him that they plan to surrender him to an international prison to face justice for his crimes. The ladies depart, going their separate ways until the day they are summoned to reunite and work together once again. We would love to hear your thoughts on the movie. Share your opinions in the comments below. Remember to give us a thumbs up and show your support by subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss out on our upcoming recaps. If there's a specific movie you'd like us to recap, please let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and until next time.